ChairShot Podcast coming at you here on Sunday evening. The spooky season rolls on and we have a terrifying show for you. Not really, it's actually going to be nice. Your pals are going to talk to you about the movies they've been watching and the wrestling as well. So don't actually be scared because... No, I'm joking. No, it's fine. Don't worry, but it's only me doing that. I am Barry. I'm your host, joined as always by my ever-dependable co-hosts. We've got Jump Scare Joe Towner.
Hello.
With us there. And the Puka, Paul Griffin, which is Irish for ghost.
Is it now?
It is. I'm one of those high art horror movies where there's no jump scares.
No. Okay, he's past trauma, Paul Griffin.
Grief.
It's actually past grief, PG.
No trauma externalized in the form of supernatural occurrences.
Yeah. We've got scary movies to talk about later on in the show, of course, folks.
We do.
We've got not that much scary. We've got some scary telly though to talk about as well. There hasn't been any, nor has there been any advertised scary wrestling. Is AEW going to do some kind of TV show where, so every episode they have people like trying to kill each other with fire bombs and stuff. So I guess they are in their spooky season right now. We'll jump into AEW shortly. Tell a little bit of life guff before we jump into that. I have been sick as a dog this week.
Oh no!
It seems like we're usually on a rotation. It's my turn at the moment to be sick. Just the usual kind of like autumnal seasonal change, head cold, sore throat, gunked up nose stuff. It's really sapping my energy as well. So the real Barry heads who listen to this, but then also tune in for the stream on Wednesday and Thursday. Ooh, baby, they got some piles of shit this week on Twitch.tv. Let me tell you, I was no feeling good. So I played about 1 hour of Silent Hill on Thursday, and I don't even think I got out the tutorial. I was like, all right, that's not bad. I have to quit. So I'm coming out the other end of it, but I'm man flued up for certain. I've got my big gigantic mug of tea here in an autumnal mug with pumpkins on it. That'll save me. But other than that, a fairly quiet week. In a good way actually, because we've had kind of hectic few weeks, obviously with our own wedding and travel and doing various house things. Someone else's wedding last week. So this week, this was a big, really, really trying to not leave the house and sit down and enjoy some like scary movies, which we did this week. So much quieter week and a more bountiful movie guff for me as a result this week. So that's been my week. What about you boys? What have you been up to?
I mean, is that where in movies like The Wicker Man, where no spoilers for The Wicker Man here, folks, but those kind of folky horrors where they sacrifice some poor pleb to the pagan gods for a bountiful harvest. You do that, but the harvest is movies.
Yeah. But it's like I sacrifice social Barry in exchange for I get to watch the Omen,
The Crow.
Yeah, I should have fucking gone out. I should have had a few pints instead. Actually, of watching the new Crow movie. I'll talk about that later.
God.
Well, speaking of grief and trauma,
oh dear,
it actually plays into my week a little bit. No, this is one of the more interesting life guffs I think I've possibly ever had. I was working like a fucking dog, obviously last week. You guys will remember that.
Yes.
Worked a little bit less this week, so I'm a little bit more energetic. Still worked a lot, but not as much. But one of the days was just very heavy. I said, and it was a Monday that was a nice day. I think Monday was quite nice here last week. And so I said during my break, I said, I'm going to get out of the house. I have some library DVDs to return anyway. So I'll hop in the car, go down to the library, drop off the DVDs. Maybe have a sneaky look if there was one or two nice ones to pick up. And then I might drive down to the park and have a little walk around the park. And then drive home and come here. So I drove to the library, dropped the DVDs off. I didn't take any new ones, just nothing caught my eye.
Okay.
And so I was driving to the park, and as I'm driving, this is the park that the three of us have spent time in. I'm driving up to the car park in that park, and I see someone on the left-hand side, and I think I recognize them. I go, do I know that person? And then as I get closer, I pull up. So I was obviously in a very long relationship from like 2014 to 2023 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually had a prior relationship to that, still in the CSP years.
Right.
Oh yeah.
This was the year before, for maybe eight months, maybe. And I was in a relationship with this Spanish girl, on and off. It was one of those ones, on and off,
right,
for the eight months. I think from January to October, it was kind of on and off there, and then we split up. Not the best split in the end. Didn't exactly part on amicable terms. You know, it happens. We were kids. What was I, like 23, I think, when we got together. So you don't know what's fucking going on when you're 23. I was probably here reviewing going, lads, The Miz is fucking class.
Almost certainly.
That's why we don't have those episodes available anymore, folks. We were stupid, okay? We didn't know what we were doing. Anyway, had this relationship with this girl, broke up. She then shortly moved back to Spain. So I'm, you think, no big deal. I'm never going to meet this person again. I'm never going to meet this person again. Sayonara, baby. Get out of here. And lo and behold, it's her. She's come over on holiday for a few days.
This is very EastEnders.
It is, but serendipitously.
The cab opens, out steps the governor.
Oh, it's fucking dirty. Again's back. Dirty.
Guess who's back in the square?
But it's her. And so I pull over, pull the window down, and go, you. Oh, yeah. And so we chat for like 1 minute. And I'm so, number one, sleep deprived. And number two, so taken aback by this, I can barely like speak. I'm like a little frightened frog. But we exchanged numbers. I drive on anyway. She was on her way to do something. I drive on anyway to the park, do my thing in the park. And then the next day we kind of met up just to hang out for like an hour and a half. We walked down to where we used to work and just chatted about the old days. And it was really nice. And then we were able to part on more happy, good terms, nice terms. And then she again went back to Spain. But it was just nice, something in your life like that you just consider that book closed, and it did not have a very happy ending. And then you just kind of the craziest coincidence that she just happened to be walking there and I just happened to be on my lunch and just randomly decided to drive there and cross paths. It was like such a crazy coincidence that I couldn't believe it. And it was really nice. Yeah, I walked down to the old stomping ground and just talked about, the old days. And it was nice. Brought up a lot of memories that I properly hadn't thought about in easily a decade.
Why you like The Miz so much? Yeah.
Why I like The Miz so much. Why do I still dress like I'm that age? But it was nice. It was nice. Emotional, of course.
Yes.
It kind of, like I say, just brought forth all these memories in a very sudden, weird way. But yeah, just one of the most crazy, kind of interesting things that I think I've had happen to me in many a year. So, to say, you have these things happen in your life that maybe not the best, and you think they're over, and you never know. Yeah, they might not even be over. Thanks.
Lovely stuff. All right, it's just interesting. Happenstance. Little epilogue.
That's
Joe, any past lifestyle occurrences for you?
No, mine were more horror movie because I don't think I mentioned this, but when I was on holiday in LA, a big chunk of my tooth fell out.
Oh, no.
It was actually about an hour before we went to Oasis. We were sat in a diner eating burger and fries, chatting away, and I just felt something really hard in my mouth. And I was like, is that like something hard in the food? And then, no, of course it wasn't. It was a big chunk.
What happened that it fell out?
It was an old fill-in that had just eventually like come loose, just fallen out. So I finally have, after about 2 years, about to go back to the dentist. So I've been doing that the last few weeks, and yeah, it was there this week. Got the old mouth numbed up, which is lovely. It's one of those things where she does the injection and she's like, all right, can you feel anything? I'm just gonna prod it. Can you feel it? And I'm like,
yeah,
I can.
Please stop prodding me, please.
I can feel it, but it doesn't hurt. And so I said, she says, all right, I'll give you a top up then. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Now I'm the entire right side of my head.
The needle in the mouth is the worst part.
That is the worst part.
No matter what.
Once you've had 2 doses, you're like, okay, the entire right-hand side of my head's going to be numb for 6 hours.
Yeah, you're like,
oh, God. So, dealing with that. But it wasn't too bad. I do have to go back for a root canal.
Have you had a root canal?
I had one before. It was actually fine.
That's what I wanted. That's the message I was going to give to you and to the listeners. Overstated how bad those are. If you have a good dentist.
I thought filling was worse, actually. Sometimes I've had fillings.
I think getting this needle in the mouth is worse.
That is the hardest part. You can feel it sort of tickling your tonsils. You're like, do you really need a needle that big? Just
yeah.
Anyway, but as we know, the true pain is actually paying for it. So that's that's been an old grand or two out the window for these appointments, fillings, and other bits and pieces.
I mean,
so yeah.
That's what's been holding me back from getting the implants that I'm planning to get.
Yes.
I'm still
your tits.
I got the old CM Punk missing tooth there, but it's like, okay, number one, the process of getting it is so long, so they have to first of all put the screw in, then you have to let that heal for like 2 months, and then they come back and cut it open again and put the thing.
Yeah,
it's like, I want to go through all that pain and but not even intense pain, but like elongated pain and inconvenience, plus pay whatever $2,000 for it, or just have a missing tooth. I mean, it's not at the front, so you don't know. Go in the back.
But I'm thinking for that money, I'll just go to Turkey, get all my teeth replaced.
Yeah.
Get the hair done.
Yeah.
Get the tits done.
Get the arse.
Get the arse done. Fake tan. I'll be sorted.
Yeah. Ken look.
Ken look. Yeah. That's been the week.
Yeah.
That's been life, go.
Dentist is always fun, eh?
Speaking of forking out to the medical staff, the injury list grows in the wrestling world, specifically the AEW side. Kota Ibushi injured at Collision this week.
Oh man!
Talk about rotten luck. I mean, because the guy has had such a tumultuous couple of years in terms of injuries and coming back too soon and having some deeply depressingly bad matches in a way where you're kind of like, oh man, we're watching a legend kind of decline in real time, and then comes back this time, seems back on track, has a couple of solid matches. You're kind of feeling like, okay, all right, Kota, we're entering a new era for Kota Ibushi. And then midway through a pretty solid match with Josh Alexander, well on its way to being a very fun TV match. I guess something kind of went wrong. They were doing some kind of top rope thing, and he basically just kind of fell out of the ring ostensibly. When you look at the clip, you kind of think, oh, but the scary thing is he almost like hits the barricade with his noggin. But I saw two different. It was a broken leg. Was that the formal
femur?
Femur. Okay. So a nasty piece of business. This is not a
that's the big drumstick bone.
Yeah. So we are sadly back again to wondering, okay, what that actually means for the future of this guy, because this is at his age and with as many previous injuries as he has, I think you're now once again back to going, okay, what's the remainder of this man's career going to look like? Obviously too early to tell, but pretty rotten luck for Ibushi.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was like, oh, of all the people for it to happen to.
Yeah.
Take Darby. He can take it. Kota Ibushi. I was like, oh, God. Poor lad. But anyway, look, it's not ballet, as they say. That's the risk they take.
Yeah. So, so he's out for the foreseeable. We did have the return of Mark Davis on Collision. Now, I didn't watch all of Collision. I just watched the Ibushi Alexander match. What was the Davis comeback?
He came out immediately after the Ibushi injury.
I knocked it off after he fell out of the ring.
So Ibushi fell out of the ring, gets counted out.
Okay.
And he's just lying there in agony. Mark Davis runs down and starts hitting him with punches in the head.
Okay, I guess. Well, he probably didn't get the memo. I guess
Oh, I think they got the memo. He'd just been counted out, but it was one of those ones where I'd say there wasn't enough time to. I mean, presumably they had planned Ibushi would win, Davis would attack him, Omega would make save, and probably build to like an Omega Ibushi versus Don Callis family pay-per-view match or something. But Ibushi's lying there in agony. They need Davis to come out so that Omega can come out, but Davis can't just come out and stand there. Do you know what I mean? He has to come out and put the boots in or something. So he goes over to Ibushi. To be fair, he doesn't like trod on his broken.
No,
leg.
yeah.
He's laying in the punches to him as Ibushi just lies there basically. And then Kenny ran out really shortly after to kind of move that on. But yeah, it's kind of again a very unfortunate but weirdly serendipitous trade. Ibushi out, Davis in the very same segment.
Yeah.
And that is my final use of the word serendipity for today. Well, I've never used before.
It's been justified. So Davis just kind of back in the Callis family heavy role.
Yes. Back in the NWO Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So yeah. That was that's the injury update for the week. I suppose the other notable thing is we're in a weird period of AEW scheduling at the moment. Obviously, we had a Tuesday, Wednesday taping this week, live on Tuesdays, and then taping on Wednesdays for Saturday. This week, it is this forthcoming week, they have a 3-hour block on Wednesday again. What is all this in service of? I assume there's sports on, but they're dodging.
This week coming is they have the tailgate and then the pay-per-view at the weekend. So it's the same as they did for the previous show, All Out, whatever it was.
Oh yes, sorry, you're right. And we actually because they did advise ahead of time that was going to be a recurring thing. Sorry, yes, that is correct.
So that's what this coming week is. But why are we having like this week Dynamite? Title Tuesday was 2.5 again.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that.
That I'm not sure about.
So yeah,
I don't mind that. I don't mind half an hour extra. That's fine. But like,
I wouldn't mind if they did this every week. To be honest, just do a 3-hour Dynamite Collision block.
Yeah, I think I'd be more inclined to watch it. To be honest,
I'd be more inclined to sit through because once I'm watching 2 hours, like you said, it was 2.5 hours this week. Yeah. By the time you forwarded through some, the breaks and that. It's only a couple of hours. Like, do a 3-hour block once a week. I mean, I know. Obviously, TNT will want Collision, but I don't know. Then they'd only have to do one taping a week. That might help attendance.
The problem is when they do this block, what they typically do is it's not a 3-hour show. It is a 3-hour show, but it's structured as a 2-hour Dynamite,
followed by an hour of
piss.
Yeah.
They don't finish with the big event.
Yeah, people don't want to stay and watch the hour. Like, let's just do a lovely 3-hour Dynamite one every week. I mean, ideally, I'd have a 2-hour Dynamite every week, and that would be it. But we're not in that era.
We're not in that era, sadly. Yeah,
it's got to be 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a week. But God, I would love that. It's just 3 hours.
I think 3 hours consistently is a little long.
That's a lot.
Yeah. That's a lot. I mean, I agree with your point that look, when I'm sitting down my once a week, if it goes an extra 30, I'm sitting there anyway. I'm watching it anyway. That's fine. An hour is a bigger commitment though. And if you still have then a collision or whatever, like that makes it an even tougher sell. But this week coming, we have 3-hour Dynamite again from Daily's Place, I believe.
Oh, really?
And then we have the tailgate, whatever it's called, tailgate. Throwdown, tailgate thrill zone,
tailgate brawl is.
And then tailgate thrill zone is not a bad one. And then we have the Wrestledream show, which is sure to be another of those on paper, but in actuality, probably another banger.
I actually think it looks really good on paper. We'll run it down.
I guess we'll have to review or review the show that hasn't happened yet. Preview Wrestledream.
That is a Saturday again, is it? It is. Ooh. Although back on in the evening, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah. Another late one. I mean, look, WWE still have a week.
I still have a week to try and TNA against all flops.
TNA versus Evolve.
New show. No, TNA versus Evolve. Oh, baby. My God. Anyway.
TNA Explosion versus Evolve.
Yeah.
WWE ID contract on a pole match in the main event.
Yeah, it's everyone just running away, reverse battle royals themselves out of the ring as quickly as possible. We'll run down the pape shortly after the TV reviews. Before that, though, fantasy update for this past week. Where we at?
Oh, hell yeah. Very high scoring week this week. Joe actually with the took the week with a mega collision. Well, Joe had in the main event of Collision FTR and Megan Bain. So that's three at once. Eddie Kingston as well. Anna Mercedes Moné, title defense of Dynamite, gave Joe a big old 22 for the week. I only had a 16, all from Dynamite, and Barry only a 14. So Joe's week. Joe still in the 70 to 80 behind me. I'm struggling to kind of pull away, but Joe's also not really caught up to me just yet. Barry, I will predict this coming week will break 1,000.
Hooray!
Barry's on 981, so Barry's still a good 200 ahead. Which, what can you do? Barry has the top 2 point scorers in the entire league with Hanger and Fletcher. Fletcher has passed Tony Storm. I think this is the lowest Tony Storm has been in the league since January. I fall down to 3rd. She started doing a lot of jobs, Tony. I mean, Tony, get in Khan's ear. Let me win all the time again, brother. But yeah, that's where we are. Again, I've used all my trades. Joe still has 1 trade left. Barry still has 2. Obviously, keeping an eye open on the Ospreay situation as we've discussed this last week.
Yeah, I feel like if he's going to be in the C2, you'd almost imagine a surprise comeback at this pay-per-view would be on the cards, perhaps.
Right.
Because, don't they kick it off at Full Gear, don't they? Or post Full Gear. Anyway, I think there's probably limited enough time left on the calendar that I think I could probably safely let him go after the pay-per-view. Because even if he can, obviously Ospreay's a massive points getter, but you've got after this pay-per-view, you've got 10 weeks of television left in the year, thereabouts.
The crazy thing is Ospreay, for the crazy year he had, might not even finish in the top 10.
Yeah.
Because of the injury.
The injuries, yeah.
So he's currently joined 4th. He's 4 points ahead of Powerhouse Hobbs of Team Joe.
He wasn't wrestling as much this year, I feel like.
No, I mean,
he had the 5-star. He was pinging out 5-star matches, literally
23 matches this year. 23 matches. Yeah, he had a very strong year last year.
He had 23 5-star matches.
And they were a bit OP. Moxley's still top of the match haver list with 37. He's almost at the Orange Cassidy 1 a week. Wow, level. Not quite. Kyle Fletcher 2nd. Takesh, then Brody King 3rd and 4th, and then Kyle O'Reilly 5th. So, there we go.
That's the fantasy for the week. Next week we will be post-pape, so some interesting results to come on that one.
Yes.
Joe,
indeed.
your mysterious new quiz. What's going on here?
Here we go. So as promised last week, we had the name, the final boss, and I said I would work backwards to come up with a quiz that fit that name, and I have done that. So,
Okay.
What's going to happen is you're going to take turns. I am going to read out a sequence, a wrestling-related sequence, one instant at a time. And what you're going to have to do is give me the final entry in that sequence. So, for example, if I was to say WrestleMania 5, WrestleMania 6, WrestleMania 7, the final entry in that sequence would be
WrestleMania 8, I would hope.
No, the final one.
Wait, what?
So if we're talking a sequence, I
think the confusion is that you started with 5. I think it was.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I'm not necessarily going to start at the beginning of the sequence. This is the point.
So the final one there would be 42.
41. I was going to say.
Well, we haven't had 42 yet. So.
Oh, sorry. Okay, 41.
So okay, you get the idea. So I'm going to read out a sequence. It won't necessarily be the beginning. I need you to give the final, whatever the most
final, not the next, but the final.
Okay.
The final entry.
Excellent. Okay.
So for every entry I read out, you're going to lose a point, right? So you're going to start with 100 points. And for every entry I read out, you lose a point. So obviously you want to get it as quickly as possible. And for every guess you make, you also lose a point. So you get as many guesses as you want. No, unlimited guesses, but you will lose a point for every guess.
I actually get to notify that.
4 goes of this each, and then at the end, whoever's got the most points remaining will be the winner. If there's a tie, we'll have a tie break. If one of you somehow
do the points carry on from question to question? Let's say at the end of question 1, if I have 90 left, do I start question 2 with 90?
Yes, you're basically getting deducted points every round, so you need to keep as many as possible. Yeah. Okay, so right, let's toss the old coin here. Well, it's not a coin. I've got a key ring, a Whataburger key ring. So we have spicy ketchup or fancy ketchup. So I'll let Barry decide. What, spicy or fancy?
Let's go spicy, baby.
Oh, he's spicy, isn't he? So spicy is black. Oh, it's fancy. So Paul gets to go first.
Lovely. I have a notepad out here.
So I'm going to read the sequence. I will leave some time in between each one just to give you a chance to hear it and give me an answer. So, let's go. And also, this is going to be tricky for me to keep score, which is why we're never going to do this quiz again. Here we are.
Enjoy it.
I'll keep score as well.
No, I don't trust you. Okay, so first sequence. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Adam Copeland.
Ooh.
Jack Perry. Daniel Garcia. Adam Cole. Dustin Rhodes.
Kyle Fletcher?
Oh, I got it there. Just about. So that was 1, 2, 3. That's 6 points you've lost there, Paul. So you're down to 94.
Yeah. Okay, I got confused there with when it was Adam Copeland, Perry Garcia. I couldn't remember if we were going backwards toward the beginning or towards...
Always forwards. All right. Always
going forwards.
Interesting. Well, backwards would be maybe not for today, but backwards would be an interesting...
You could do backwards, yeah.
That would still be a sequence.
That wouldn't be the final. That'd be the first.
Oh, the name, Paul.
We'd have to change the name of the quiz to the first
please.
boss.
We started with the name. Please try and remember that.
Right, okay.
It's not the first boss.
Over to Barry, your sequence.
Okay. Let me get my notepad here.
The Undertaker versus AJ Styles.
Okay.
Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks.
Okay. Okay, keep going.
Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens.
Okay. Can I take a guess here?
Shut out.
John Cena versus Cody Rhodes.
That is incorrect.
Fuck.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos.
Fuck.
The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
I don't understand why that one I just said was wrong.
I know why.
Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns
is the answer.
That's it.
What's the? I don't understand what the category was.
WrestleMania Night 1 main event.
Fuck.
So what happens when you reach the end and don't get it?
You lose all the points from that.
You get maximum loss, which is 7 in this case. So Paul, you're currently in the lead. You've lost 6. Barry's lost 7.
Shite.
Okay.
Just right. Okay. It's not a good quiz, but we'll keep going.
I like this.
It's a bit contrived.
No. It's fine.
First. Okay, back to Paul. Chris Benoit.
Okay.
Minoru Tanaka. Kurt Angle. Chris Benoit.
I think I know this. There's no stealing, right? There's no stealing.
No. Chris Benoit.
Oh, this must be like a observer list or something. Zack Sabre Jr.
No.
Okay.
Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson.
That is correct.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So that is 5, 10, 13 points down. Oof. Okay.
All right, I gotta get back here. I gotta get back here. Okay.
You've lost 7, so you're winning at the moment. Okay.
Okay.
Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega.
Okay. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shota Umino.
No, incorrect. The Elite versus the Inner Circle.
Okay.
The Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. CM Punk versus Hangman Page.
I know the category for sure.
Oh, what was this year's? Fuck.
Keep going, Joe.
Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite.
Fuck. I don't know. I know what the category is. I don't know what the fucking answer is.
The Elite versus Team AEW.
I don't know what the answer to this is, so I can't get it. No, I'm not going to waste any more guesses.
Okay. Final in the sequence. Hangman Page versus
Ospreay.
Will Ospreay.
I'm going to remembering which pay-per-view
Finally,
anime.
Owen.
Okay, so it's with 13 after the first two. Okay. Right, let's go.
I'll play for you.
Okay. Back to you, Paul.
Yeah.
Remember, you can have as many guesses as you want. You will lose a point, but you
Yeah.
can just throw out guesses. You don't have to. Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant. That's the second one. Macho Man Randy Savage. The Ultimate Warrior.
Pass it to me, Paul. I've known 2 of Paul's.
And I've known both of ours.
Sergeant Slaughter.
I mean, is it Vince McMahon?
Oh, he's got it.
He's got it.
He's got it. Well done. Yes.
Andre the Giant twice?
Do you know
3 in the
sequence?
tournament. The tournaments for Hogan's Mania opponents.
It was Hulk Hogan WrestleMania opponents. Yes.
Yeah,
it was,
I didn't know he did on 4. Yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter, Sid Justice, Money Incorporated.
It was like a double count out or something. Andre.
Yokozuna, The Rock, and then Vince McMahon. And that was it. R.I.P. We won't be doing any more.
Yeah.
Maybe AI. But
Yeah.
Okay, back to you, Barry.
Stephen Hawking.
CM Punk. Chavo Guerrero.
Okay, I'm going to Ezekiel Jackson.
He's got it. Well done. Yes. So that's 3 for you. So, yeah, 3 behind now. Okay,
I wouldn't have had that one. Well done.
Okay, so we're going into the final one, and it is...
Final boss. Right.
Yeah, so Barry, 16. Paul, 19. So,
Right.
What does that mean?
It means Barry's on 84 and I'm on 81. If we're going to use the 100 points.
Yeah, I cool. Gave up on that. Well, you still got two. You still got one more each.
Yeah.
So basically, Paul, you have to finish more than 3 ahead of Barry.
I need to get this immediately.
Okay. All right. So just turn that over. Okay. So Paul, let me go. Right. Triple H. Ric Flair. The Undertaker.
What?
Rey Mysterio. Dolph Ziggler. CM Punk.
What on earth is this?
I think I know what this is, but I don't know what the answer is.
The Miz.
No, actually, I don't.
Dolph Ziggler. CM Punk.
I am absolutely stumped on this one. I have no idea.
The Miz. You throw out guesses.
Yeah, CM Punk.
Incorrect. Walked into that one. Roman Reigns. Big Cass.
What is this? What is this?
Rusev. Elias.
I have no idea what this is.
Brock Lesnar.
Oh, is it? Let me think. Wait. I think I know the category, but I don't think I know the answer.
Edge.
Yeah.
AJ Styles. No, for it, I guess.
Cody Rhodes.
No. Gunther.
I'll guess Cody Rhodes again.
Cody Rhodes last.
John Cena.
Jey Uso.
Oh, I think I actually do know what this is. Okay. Eventually.
And the final entry. So Jey Uso.
Cena.
No. Rey Mysterio. Barry Jones.
Was it like Royal Rumble number 30s or something, was it?
Royal Rumble number 1 entrance.
Number 1s, okay.
Yeah, from 2000 and something.
The funny thing about that is I wouldn't have gotten what this year's one was.
No, I had no idea.
And that was probably the hardest part. I would have maybe guessed the one that got me was like the Ziggler Punk Miz, like that repeated number 1s in there. But anyway, okay, so basically Barry's won because
it's okay.
Unless I really torched this, but go on.
Okay,
yeah, come on, guess every single one, Harry. Every time.
I'll take some guesses. Right.
Okay, Boston.
Stone Cold Steve Boston.
New Orleans.
No. East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Las Vegas.
Nope. Indianapolis, Indiana.
Los Angeles.
Nope. Los Angeles.
Okay, I think this is Mania cities, but where was it this year? I could have sworn it was one of the ones I said, but obviously not. Nope.
Los Angeles.
Double Los Angeles? Okay, I must be wrong then. I don't think they ever did 2 LAs.
Los Angeles.
No.
Los Angeles.
SummerSlam, okay, but where I have no fucking clue where the last one was. Toronto.
Incorrect. Los Angeles.
I don't think this is true, but Los Angeles? I've already guessed that.
No.
Where the fuck was it?
Brooklyn, New York.
East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Correct. Sorry, what a berry that was. SummerSlam host cities. Yes, very good. Very good.
Okay.
So Barry wins.
Okay.
By quite a margin there. That's one of those quizzes where I'm looking at it thinking, "Oh, this would be really easy. I better make it a bit harder."
No, that was good.
And then when
you
actually do it, it's actually like very hard to visualize. Like,
yeah,
what is this? He's just reading random names out. I'm supposed to figure this out. Yeah, there's some.
I think there's potential there. I think
we might bring that one back, but
workshop it.
I think a lot of effort goes into it, which is good, but also
that's the other part that puts me off. To be honest,
time in it,
I actually do have another. I have a 4, so maybe we'll do that next week.
Okay.
Maybe those will be easier. So
I'd be down to do that again. I thought that was fun.
All right, there we go.
That is the final boss. Copyright. ChairShot Podcast. Wrestling reviews, not copyrighted by us, not yet anyway. Title Tuesday, 2.5 hours this week from Daly's Place. Over there in Florida. Kicked off with Hangman, Adam Page, and Samoa Joe, the old Tony Schiavone, thank you for agreeing to no physicality gimmick. The Tony special. This is good stuff, I thought, bantering back and forth, kind of Hangman being the opened with his it's been a long couple of years, I've been through a lot, blah de blah. And basically said that he owed Joe the chance repayment for all the Death Rider stuff, but you won't be the better man at Wrestledream. And Joe was not so gracious and pretty much went for the jugular and said that Hangman was a pretender. I thought he had a good line about padding his resume by beating people like Lee Moriarty on short notice and stuff like that, which I thought was very cool. Called him a fraud, and a couple of other things as well. Hangman said that the longer the match goes, the more it benefits him because he's not going to be able to outlast him, which I thought was another good point. This is just good stuff. This is just good, solid stuff. Felt very grounded, felt very real. Two athletes kind of going at each other, picking up their respective games and who has the actual credentials to beat the other. That was really solid stuff.
I thought it was great, but there was the part of me that was thinking this would have been even more great if they had not just abruptly made it the week before. If this had been bubbling and building for a couple of weeks already, maybe ever since All In, they could have dropped a few little breadcrumbs that, even though they're on the same side, there's maybe a bit of disharmony between Joe and Hanger, and then it could finally erupt during the match last week instead of coming out of nowhere. And now you have this very good promo, but it doesn't feel like it's been built to in any meaningful way. But nevertheless, very good, very good. Just, it felt like this would have been even more satisfying had I been already invested in the feud, instead of this being the promo that kind of gets me into it when the pay-per-view is 1 week away.
Yeah, I think it's funny because AEW TV is pretty solid at the moment, but I think things like the rankings and some of the more long form booking are I think the cracks are starting to show in some of that stuff. This is a good example. You got two great promos here, two lads who know what they're doing, and they're able to gin up the excitement for you because they're so good. But at the end of the day, to your point, Paul, yeah, this would be hitting even harder if it felt like they had actually been bubbling Joe under the surface all along, which it does not feel like they have been. Conglomeration promo backstage. Let me tell you, I am really over Roderick Strong looking all sour. He's looking all sour things, right? So his thing is kind of like, I'm not down with this tomfoolery, right? Which is fine. But then he still does his comedic yelling Kyle O'Reilly's name, his like brochachos gimmick from 2 years ago that everyone hated. That's annoying. Even though I don't really think of him in this fashion, Kyle O'Reilly has weird like Vince era WWE syndrome, where he's like this great technical wrestler, but somewhere along the way they decided that actually he's hilarious, and so he should be a shtick man. I hate his shtick massively. For a wrestler who I really enjoy, I really, really hate his shtick. So him and Strong, I've kind of had my fill of.
I like O'Reilly's shtick. I can't stand Strong, so I'll agree with you half.
Yeah. So they did the usual conglomeration thing. Then you had Moxley versus Ishii. And I don't know. I don't think this was quite on the level of their original way back when G1 match. Of course not. But this was a barnstormer. I think this might be Ishii's best in AEW. I think he's done some fun stuff, but it's been a lot of kind of tags and a lot of short TV matches.
Well, he had the great Fletcher match.
He had the Fletcher match, yes, yeah. That was the other one. But
let's not forget that one. But, I think this Dynamite show had 5 matches over 4 stars in the Observer.
Yes, it was a very strong bell week. This was really great stuff. This was a high level. This was absolutely a pay-per-view or a G1 back when they were special, level match for sure. Yeah, great stuff. Just leathering the hell out of each other. Mox, of course, picked up the win. The thing about Ishii and AEW, you're not going to get he's not going to pick up many wins over people.
This was the first, sorry to cut across you. This was the first time watching an Ishii match where I was like, Ishii's like 4'10".
Yeah.
Moxie was like towering over him.
And Mox not a tall man,
No, Mox must be. Let's try Moxie. He must be 6'3" or 6'4".
Really?
6'2"?
I would have thought he was like 6 even, like maybe a wrestling 6'2",
Well, he's built at 6'4". But I mean, seeing him next to Ishii, I could believe it.
But yeah, they had a top-notch match there. Choke. Moxie won with the choke. So yeah, great stuff. Course. Young Bucks were backstage bagging on Tony Khan's door, looking for a money match. This could probably also go in the bag of stuff where I'm like, all right. I was enjoying this for quite a while. We talked a couple of weeks ago about I liked the idea that they won the money match and it got them their entrance back. I thought that was a cute little way to tie a number of things together. Yeah. Now we're kind of back to, we're so poor and nobody. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
Let's wrap this up.
We've seen it.
I do like the idea of someone knocking on Tony Khan's door, asking for one of those money matches, though, that he loves to throw about willy-nilly.
And the big payoff to this one ended up being that they got one as well, which is really funny. So I guess it works. We had a great Statlander Tony video. For all their over the top antics, the two of them. I mean, this was a straight like numbers, 2 athletes at the top of their games. It was like one of the old Royal Rumble videos. It was all stats. It was Tony has been this many 100 combined days as champion, first ever, only ever 4-time women's champion, looking to break her own record as the 5th. Statlander, first and only ever women and TBS champion. Like, it was all that kind of, it was great. They had their win percentages. Statlanders had the most, I think, either matches or wins in company history. I can't remember on the women's side. I think it was matches. So really great stuff. Just bigging them up as the 2 top people in this division, which was brilliant. So I really enjoyed that.
I love the idea of, on one hand, you have very personal feuds, and we're bemoaning the Joe Hangman feud for not really being built in that way. And then you have Tony Storm and Statlander, where the sell is like, look, these two are fucking class.
Yeah. Yeah.
These two are class, and they're killers, and they win, and they're gonna fucking fight. You got me.
And going back to the rankings and things like that, it's like when AW leans into that stuff, it writes itself. The stories tell themselves. You don't have to overthink it. This is kind of a weird thing. So the spoilers for the pay-per-view preview, but so we had a street fight here between the Hurt Syndicate and the Demands. And long story short, this is to set them up having another trios match that is not a street fight at the pay-per-view, which is a little bit odd. I feel like this feud hasn't even gone that long, and it already feels a little bit long in the tooth.
Well, they're having a tag match on Dynamite as well.
Yeah.
Ashley Benjamin against the Goa, and then a trios match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think we've had our fun with it. Now, listen, I thought this match was really fun.
I will counterpoint to you and say I thought it was a bit boring.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought
it went on and on and on.
It was long. It went through. Did it go through 2 breaks? I think it might have done. Again, 2.5 hour show on a show where they already look. Dynamite always gives time to wrestling. That's one of the stories of the show's history. 2.5 hours and these 3-hour shows, and this one as well, they weren't able to call. It wasn't one of those classic 2 hours of Dynamite, hour of Collision. It was just 2.5 hours of Dynamite, so they did just kind of stretch things a little bit. I think that's fair.
An extra match in there. They could have got an extra match in there.
But I did like the Syndicate out there in their suits. They
did look class.
They looked class. I thought it was good stuff. It was a bit long, but and plus how many weapons matches can you see these days? I think we've done and seen it, especially in this company where people are setting each other on fire and stuff. And then when you go out there and you do a trash can match, it's a little bit. It doesn't quite hit the same. But the work was solid. Oh my God, Benjamin hit an unbelievable German suplex on Ricochet through the table. That was like something out of a SmackDown versus Raw game. The way he did that, I've never seen anyone actually do that. That was great. That got him the win. So
I mean, I might be over exaggerating, but in my memory, this match was like 25 minutes of MVP punching the back of Toa Leona on the outside.
That's fair.
Do you know what I mean?
There was walking and brawling. There absolutely was.
I don't think they even could, if they got to the crowd and fought up into the reaches of Daily Place, that might have been fun. But yeah, I don't know. It was a bit pedestrian for
me. Callis promo setting up the whatever double Jeopardy tag thing for later. There you go. Lucha Jurassic Express defeated KF and Orion. Jack Perry, I think, is now like for the sickos who like lore, because he's got his old little boots on, his little Jungle Boy boots. He's got his he's the scapegoat still with his beard, and he has his knife from the comeback angle, or not the knife holder. So he's kind of like a little amalgamation of all different things. This already feels like this is out of steam. I realize these are jabronis. This is just a match setting up the Young Bucks thing. We
talked about this last week, but what is the point of Jurassic Express? Like, they're back together. Why? What is the why? It's the goal. Like what? But no, in terms of their characters, like what is their character motivation? What?
Yeah,
why are they back together? What are they trying to achieve? Is it like, we want to? Because they already won the tag belts. It's not like they had unfinished business. What are they?
Also, am I misremembering? Now, maybe I did, and or wasn't paying attention. Have they explained why Perry is not friends with the Young Bucks anymore?
Because they turned their back on him, whatever that means.
Because when he returned at the pay-per-view, they initially were like, our boy, yes, Jack, and then he turned on them. I feel like they haven't said why he did that, other than they're annoying.
He realised the error of his ways.
I guess, yeah.
Fighting for good, not evil.
So the Bucks came out, jumped Jurassic Express, and called them out for Wrestledream. So there you go. And I believe on confirmed that was the $500,000 match. Based on the current tenor of this company, I'm going to have to imagine that the Jurassic Express will win, because we're going to get 6 more months of the Young Bucks coming out to silly JPEGs.
Jack Perry will have a diamond-studded knife.
Yeah, he'll pull out the Hans Moleman, this is a knife thing, and keel over, while Nick Jackson's just like, Tony. Definitely promo with Hawk doing the talking. So there you go. And Daniel Garcia also had a little bit there at the end. Fletcher versus O'Reilly, Battle of the Kyles. Obviously they were the crowd were memeing it up and they were being silly with the Kyle chants. But that aside, I mean, this was 2 really good wrestlers having a super competitive TNT title match.
Yeah. I mean, if Fletcher goes to NXT, I think he could really round out quite well.
Wrestled some of America's finest volleyball players. Becoming a great wrestler.
Oh, God. Stevie Richards has moved on for that now. Now he's inexplicably one of those guys who's annoyed Michelle McCool is on the Undertaker's podcast. I'm like, brother, I can't imagine anything I would care about less than, oh man, Undertaker's podcast isn't as cool as it used to be. Oh my God, that is such a funny complaint to have.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta scrape the bottom of the barrel when the chips are down. This match is great.
This match is super. Great. Yeah, again, like just like the matches, the quality of matches Dynamite just casually has on a random week is really outrageous. 2 brainbusters got it for Fletcher. Big schmozzeroonie there at the end with a bunch of run-ins, conglomeration, Lance Archer, Rocky Romero, Mark Briscoe. And it's going to be Briscoe, Fletcher, 5.
Oh, baby.
At the Pape, which is going to be fantastic, of course, because they are two of the wrestlers of the year.
That's the people's main event. That's the people's main event.
It's going to be really top-notch. Mercedes had her open challenge against a Florida person.
And it wasn't Bailey's friend. It wasn't little Debbie.
Which would have been more interesting, I would argue. I don't know why they hype. Not hype. I'm not going to act like they didn't do a Tony Khan has a huge announcement about this match. I don't want to overstate. But
it was a mystery.
I wouldn't have done even a 1 week mystery opponent thing for Lacey Lane. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I was a bit like, huh?
I mean, fair enough. She's a person from another, but she was NXT tag team champion like 4 years ago.
Wrestled in Ring of Honor as well.
That was the thing. Now, obviously, we're not watching Ring of Honor, but the commentators were like, "Oh, she's been in Ring of Honor." I was like, "Oh, so the real sickos who watch all this stuff aren't even surprised to see her show up necessarily." So very odd. Match was like all right. It wasn't anything. It was all right. You know,
she hit one move that was like a fireman's carry into like a leg drop. And my brain couldn't comprehend what had happened. It was like when you see a video game and like one character glitches through the other one, clips through him. I was like, did that just happen in real life? What happened there? It was a very cool move.
I actually did enjoy the match, although it sounded negative. It was quite good, but I think they could have built it up as like have a challenge or have, I don't know.
Again, since it's not like she's not coming fresh off a 90-day no compete or something like that. She's been on Ring of Honor. I would have just had her out issuing a challenge, beat someone 2 weeks ago on Dynamite. Again, we go back to this criticism all the time. I would have just had a little bit more formal, straightforward booking. It was all right.
To care. Give us a promo.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind that like people who love your show were not watching her show when she was on it 2 years ago. You know, when you were competing with each other. It looks like Monet is not on the pay-per-view, which is
the hell.
I mean, I think we talked about this for the last couple of weeks.
Trailer.
No, I feel like we're kind of at the end of our time. I feel like the time has come to kind of do something with her, as in like have her finally drop the TBS title to somebody else, but there's like nobody really ready necessarily who's not tangled up in something else, right?
I think part of the problem is that in AEW, the person who wins the belt will go on and be the champion for a year, as opposed to I'm not saying necessarily that hot-shotting and hot potatoing the belts is good. But sometimes someone can just fucking, like even with Statlander now, sometimes someone can just win the belt. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to be Mercedes holds it for a year. She gets beaten by someone who's built to a star, and then they hold it for a year. And then, someone can just, Athena can come in, beat her, and then Athena does whatever with it. Anyway, that should be a mid-card women's belt anyway. Then Mercedes can go up to the top of the card and mix it up with them. I don't know.
I got a pre-tape backstage set with Sammy Guevara calling out Eddie Kingston on behalf of Beast Mortos, and this is certainly going on the list of Tony Khan fumbles. The
Eddie Kingston return.
The Eddie Kingston return. Now, fair enough. Look, the match was a stinker, and that's two people's fault. Like that's not Tony Khan's fault. They both had a bad night and they whipped, and fair enough. I don't think them having a bad match would have deterred the audience at all if Eddie was back doing something of substance the next episode of Dynamite. You're not only have you relegated him to Collision, which I mean we're not this is not WrestleNomics Radio, but based on refined data is being watched by 2 people. You know, you relegated him there, and you've once again relegated him to ultimately going to be feuding with Sammy Guevara on his 800th push attempt in this company. I mean, this is like lower mid card stuff for this guy. It has they have not struck while the iron is hot, which might be the subtitle of the AEW book when it's all said and done. On this one, so there you go. And also, Hook was just like standing there.
Well, here's a pop quiz without looking, guys. One. I mean, I know he was briefly absent as well. How many matches do you think Hook has had this year?
I'll say 3.
Okay, it's not quite that low.
Okay, 10.
9.
Oh,
It's single digits.
yeah.
9 matches all year. Again, we've talked about Hook and the need for the repetition of wrestling on TV to improve and 9 matches all year. I mean, let me order here and see what esteemed company he's in. He's had as many matches as Carly Bravo, Action Andretti, Sean Dean, Ty Mello. She had a baby a few years ago.
Yeah, in the midst of all this, yeah.
Trent Beretta has had more matches on TV this year.
Wow.
Brian Cage, and he's been gone all year, it feels like.
There's several injured people on this list.
I mean, some names you wouldn't believe, like...
And
Rocky Romero has had more TV matches this year than Hook has.
Well, TK's doing something right then. Based on the framing of this vignette and the general tenor of the Eddie thing, it feels like, much like Jurassic Express, it kind of feels like we're going back to square one with Hook, and he's going to be the valet who folds his arm and looks cool in the background. I wouldn't be shocked if during some Kingston matches he's like hip tossing the heel managers on the outside, like he was doing for Team Taz back in the day. I feel like regressing because all the new stuff didn't work, so back we go. And much like Sammy and a couple of other people in this company, I'm kind of like Scorpio Sky, also on his 9,000th push attempt. At a certain point, I'm looking at these people and saying, okay, how many more times are we going to try with this? Jack fucking Perry also in this conversation. Jack Perry, I'm a little bit lighter on Jack Perry because he has done cool stuff in this company. The original run of that tag team, his early original babyface stuff with Christian and against Luchasaurus and stuff. These other guys, I mean, you know, we're just trying over that. You've got this huge roster of super talented people, and you're trying over and over and over again with Scorpio and Sammy and Hook and Jungle Boy. You know, Sammy's now ironically nodding and winkingly referring to himself as your favorite pillar. Oh, how we laugh. Tony Khan.
I mean, we've made the point about excursions and stuff, but like, it would be nice for AEW to put in place a formal thing where a guy like Hook, if they decide this guy needs some seasoning, move him over to New Japan, work New Japan for 6 months, or CMLL, or whatever, you know? Because having 9 matches a year in AEW, I mean, I would struggle to see where the improvement plan is there.
No, exactly. That's been the big problem for them in the entire history of the company, I would say. And they tried doing house shows, and they were a gigantic bomb. Nobody went. I mean, they certainly shouldn't try doing those again right now because they can barely get people to these TV tapings. So yeah, I think that. I mean, if you call up Owl Andy in England and say, listen, we want Hookski to get some real reps. We're sending him over to Blighty. We're paying for him. Don't you worry about it. Of course he's going to take him. It's a television wrestler that people know. Would Hook take that? I don't know. Again,
that's the problem, right? This we've discussed as well. Hook's on a big fat deal.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever.
Does he want to go wrestle in the Withenshaw Community Centre for two people. But that's what it is, and it's not just,
unless they tour Ring of Honor as a really low expectation touring brand.
Yeah,
like doing 500 people in a small venue and just packing these young lads who need, with no expectation of making money or anything, just have it as like a sunk cost to get these guys experience.
Unofficial developmental kind of, which fans already perceive it as anyway, so you might as well. And that'd be two birds with one stone, because what are you doing at Ring of Honor other than parking it forever as this one of these days it'll be on TV thing, which just does not seem to be happening.
It's just Tony's little side project.
Yeah.
It feels like.
So yeah, I don't know. I'd be
if Ring of Honor were playing. I know the Tivoli doesn't exist for us anymore, Barry, but like, an equivalent or a very small 500 capacity venue in London or whatever, and you see who's on the card. Okay, it's your Ring of Honor guys, but then there's Hook, and there's Lee Moriarty, and there's maybe a Dustin Rhodes. I know he's just equipment,
that kind of guy. Yeah,
four or five guys who, I know him from the actual TV, and the tickets are fucking 15 quid.
And as you say, it shouldn't be cheap tickets, because it's not really about making money, it's about getting something of use out of it. Yeah, I agree, that'd be interesting. It's been the story of this promotion is where do these new people get their reps, because all the new generation of talent, so let's say not your 2019 AEW people, all the new folks who've come in and gotten really over and had good matches are people that did have prior experience, like your Willows et al. Were wrestling for years on the indies before they came. Tony Storm, obviously, as well. They all, and they've had so many young people that do have potential. Like Hook does have potential. By signing people like Anna Jay, essentially fresh out of wrestling school. But it's like, where do they go to build up that resume? It's been the story of the promotion,
and maybe that's something they need to consider with their hiring policies and processes. Like, okay, there's the fear that you want to grab someone early that they don't go to NXT or WWE, but you're basically signing them at their current ability with potential for improvement, but only if they really either hit the ground running or get used a lot. So I mean, there's a difference to me with signing, like you said, an Osprey or a Swerve or a Tony, people who have been hitting the indie scene for years and years and years, and even been in WWE previously. Those people who are coming in TV ready, and a Hook who is, like you said, or an Anna Jay, fresh out of being trained. And Hook, early days, we were all amazed with how smooth and how good everything was for a guy who's so young and a guy with so little experience.
Obviously had something. It's not that there's nothing there at all,
Of course. I mean, that's the point, right? The point isn't that this guy's a no-hoper. The point is, okay, him being on AEW TV has gotten him in... How long has he been around? 3 years? 4 years?
I feel like it was... Yeah, it might be 4. Yeah, because it was still pandemic when he started showing up.
This is how much he's improved in 4 years.
Yeah.
So what do we do now to get him to the next level? What's the plan? Stand in the background for Eddie Kingston promos?
Yeah. Yeah. So after that, we had a variety of different backstage promos. Nothing super important. We'll brush past those. We had the Double Jeopardy Eliminator match. Okada and Takeshita defeating Brodido.
Oh, baby.
A long match. As was. No, I don't want to overstate how long it was. On a show.
12 minutes.
What? Oh, jeez.
And 4 seconds.
Okay, maybe I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought then, because I thought I thought this felt quite long, but I'm
like an epic.
Maybe it was just this show being longer. By the time this match kicked in, I was kind of like,
I like this one a lot. I like this one a lot.
But yeah, interesting results. So Okada blind tagged in. and hit Bandito with the Rainmaker to get the 3 count.
Yeah.
Again, if we were to start pontificating about the lack of seriousnness Tony applies to Ring of Honor, I mean, it's kind of, he literally seems to be like, well, we don't want to pin the big man of the team, so we'll pin the little one. Tony, no, I don't care. Don't even finish that sentence. I don't want to hear.
No. To be fair, Bandito had just had the match in Mexico where his shoulder popped out and back in. So obviously they're like, right, he's compromised. He's got the injured shoulder. He won't get back on the shoulder. He's going to be the one to lose. And then he cut a very sympathetic babyface promo backstage after. I'm okay.
That's fine, but I don't know. Again, but I got my point about being the Ring of Honor champion is kind of a joke. Who
cares?
Who cares? Yeah, it's like you can't actually care at all. We had Willow and Jet Speed cutting a promo on FTR. FTR also responded with Bane. So your little back-to-back promos there.
It's got to be Bane.
Had the aforementioned Brodito promo. And then we had the main event of Orange Cassidy defeating Pac.
With his new nickname, the most jacked man in the history of the world.
Jack. Instead of Pac.
I can believe when he came out with his new little singlet and tights. I was like, my God, this man's been eating
shit. He looks shit.
Horse meat or something. Oh, I don't mind it. I don't mind the look.
He looks like he's wearing the same gear that I said this on Blue Sky. He's wearing the same gear that your man wears in the Bang Bang Gang. Who also hasn't been around since he was around. Juice Robinson, yeah. The kind of black tights and the black singlet that he came back in, and everyone was like, what the fuck is he wearing? Where's he, by the way? Do they still wrestle?
He was on television this week.
I don't watch that, so.
Well, he didn't. He was in the backstage. He didn't wrestle.
Yeah.
I don't mind the look, but he was so jacked.
I kind of thought the look at the pay-per-view, I thought it was interesting because it was something different. And it's like, we've seen a million Pac returns, so he's jazzing up, but I think it's sapped a little bit of his aura. But
I don't agree. I was mesmerized by the arms that were the same width as his torso.
Well, he's always been in great nick. He has always been in great
little torso Pac.
He's been in the gym. That's fine.
I saw someone on online say something like, steroids don't get you in the gym.
This is how we buy them.
It's where you meet the people who can supply them to you.
Okay. I mean, Jesus Christ, the guy is like a mutant or something. Unbelievable. Did I mention that Orange Cassidy last week was looking kind of smaller and whether I did imagine it? And then they put him in the ring with this like rhinoceros man. Like, Jesus.
I have to say, it wasn't a bad match, but it did just make me think we're kind of now 5.5 years on from their epic Revolution match. Has to be like, we're kind of in the Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler sort of territory where they've not made enough new people and we're just kind of seeing the same stuff. And I'm a bit like, okay.
I mean, not everything is this though. This is one of those rare callback things.
And then I also saw they're doing like Claudio versus Roderick Strong, and I'm like,
is that a match they've done before?
Well, it was a match that I wouldn't have watched in Ring of Honor 15 years ago. And that's gonna be. It just feels like there are a lot of guys there who've been around for quite a long time now.
Yes.
I mean, you could compare that to WWE, and there's it's all like 50-year-olds still in the main event, John Cena's, etc. But I don't know. I think AEW is always about freshness. So it's about new faces, freshness.
Who's out there to bring in though?
That's what I'm going to say. It's difficult now that the indies have died because of basically AEW came along. WWE signed up everyone. They can't really bring anyone in. They did bring in your man Ace Austin from TNA, and he I think he had one match.
He's had one match. He's in the Bang Bang Gang now with Pac's friend who wears the same gear.
But let's see a bit more of people like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's right. I mean, we've talked before about the idea of the two companies existing, making for more movement back and forth, right? Where someone can come in, do their thing, and then once it starts to, run out of steam, move on. Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's certain people around that maybe you're less interested in seeing now than when they originally came in. But yeah, I mean, look, ultimately it's about making fresh storylines, fresh feuds. You're right insofar as pairing people together who maybe haven't been paired together. I didn't have a problem with this one necessarily because, number one, the original match was fucking class. And number two, they don't do this too often where it's this match again, where, you know, on the other side, every Raw is like the same four people having matches for the entire year, you know? Yeah, I liked it quite a lot. I liked especially Pac doing the little Orange Cassidy roll to the other side with Orange Cassidy on the front. That made me laugh. And then we had a very, very silly post-match.
Yeah, like, I'm in two minds, right, about the Derby and the taser and the Molotov cocktail. At the end of the day, I think the main reason they're doing all this shit with the fire is they're trying to sell you on the idea that you have to buy the pay-per-view because these are two of the craziest fucking guys in the world. And
which, to be fair, they did last time. Remember we talked about the flamethrower?
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is the positive. This is like, they're like, you have to buy the pay-per-view because they're going to have an I Quit match, which is always like the most insane thing in wrestling. And these two guys are going to do, you might see things that you've never seen in wrestling before. And it won't be a pantomime WWE like lightning shooting thing like the Undertaker would do. It's like they might actually set each other on fire. I on the one hand, it is working because you do think, fuck, what are these two going to do? On the other thing is, like, I don't need Darby Allin pulling up the GTA 3 weapon wheel and this week he's got flamethrower, next week it's the Molotov. He's pressing R1, R2, L1, R2, left down, right up, and he's got the Uzi and the shotgun as well, and unlimited ammo. You know, it's like, it's kind of like the famous thing we talked about last year where he came out with the flamethrower and I was like, it's a bit silly, it's wrestling, and then they used it, which was kind of funny. But it's kind of like, you know, again, I kind of like when they have video packages where they talk about how Statlander and Storm have these massive win-loss records and unbelievable time racked up as champions. Like, that's more my AEW than I'm going to throw you off the top of Mount Everest onto a spike, you know.
I was debating after Dynamite with my brother, and I said, you know what I think would these guys would do? I believe that Moxley would let Darby like shoot him in the leg.
Yes.
Unfavorable. He would just fucking shoot me in the leg. Fuck it. In a non-critical area. I think he probably would fucking do it. These guys are insane. So how far do you go is kind of the point, right? Do we want to see a Molotov cocktail spot on a pay-per-view?
I mean, I didn't. The funny thing is, I actually don't really know what my answer to that question is, because the funny thing is like, one of the coolest things you can do in a movie, still to this day, is if you're watching a movie and you see like them what's an obvious, like a real stunt person doing a full body burn. That is one of the coolest things you can do in a movie. It always looks great. You know, it's just like actual danger to it. You know, there's real like craftsmanship to it. But do I want to see a couple of fucking idiot wrestlers try and do that and potentially kill themselves? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation. But I'm certain whatever they do, it'll be spectacular one way or the other. That was Title Tuesday. Other than the aforementioned Ibushi conversation, how was anything of note?
It was okay. I mean, again, one of those ones where I was awake at 1 a.m. last night, and I said, go to bed, watch the morning. Opened with Alexander Ibushi, so that was the opening match. And it was very good, as we said. Unfortunately, the old finish, and then Omega then returned. And as we said, they're going to build some sort of match, I presume. They did make for Dynamite Omega and Jurassic Express against Don Callis' family. So that'll be on the upcoming 3-hour Dynamite. Love that Omega keeps getting killed, but he's just comes back after 2 years. Lately, that's the new thing. But yeah, Sad for Ibushi, because clearly they were going to do something there with Omega and Ibushi as a team. Not to be. Max Caster and Anthony Bones beat Big Bill and Brian Keith. They're still doing the "we're not a team. No, I can't stand this guy" gimmick. They did find themselves in the opposite corners, and the crowd very slowly came to, this is our thing. And they didn't do it, obviously, but I don't think that got as much of a reaction as they were hoping that it would.
No.
Bang Bang Gang backstage. That's Austin Gunn, Juice Robinson, and Ace Austin, and Big Bill and Brian Keith came by, so it looked like they're going to do a match with them. TJ won a match against Carolina Cruz and Dream Girl Ellie. Nothing much there. They announced that The Demand would take on Hurt Business in a trios match on Dynamite, or not a trios match, tag match on Dynamite and a trios match at Pay-Per-View. They showed footage of Darby attacking Moxley at Comic-Con. No Molotov cocktails in view there. Statlander, Tony Storm, and Harley Cameron were beaten by Triangle of Madness. Kenny Omega was cutting a promo with Jack Perry come in. That's where they set up the match with Jurassic Express. Omega called Luchasaurus a big dumb dinosaur. I don't give a shit about you, big dumb dinosaur, which was a very, very funny line to have said on a television show. They had the MXM TV, whatever they're called, the Mansoor and Mason Madden team.
John Morris.
They had another Johnny TV. They had another open challenge, and it was answered by LFI, Roosh, Sammy Guevara, and Drew Listico, who, of course, beat them handily. Eddie Kingston then came out for his match with Beast Mortos, beat him as well. And then the main event, Megan Bayne and FTR, Low and Jet Speed in a mixed tag match. FTR and Megan Bayne with the win via Doomsday Device on Willow. There was a funny spot in this match where Willow found herself in the ring with both members of FTR while her partners were down, and she proceeded to beat the shite out of the two of them. It's kind of a big pop for me. She did the big fire up, and she was hitting like punch, chop, punch, chop, punch, chop. And Catch Wheeler kind of spun her around. Right, punch, chop for you as well. Crowd, rah! That was it. That was Collision.
All right, it sounds like a solid enough addition to the show.
It was okay.
Let's take a look here at this here paint card. Do a quick rundown of it. We'll have mentioned most of it over the course of the show. Hurt Syndicate versus The Demand. I mean, there must be a conclusion here. I feel like we must have a conclusion to this. JD Hater versus Tekla in a singles match. So I suppose that's your with no Mercedes match. We're getting just a singles match, and I think that's a testament to the strength of this division that they have. They can just have a mid card non-title women's match, and big opportunity for Tekla here. Pay-per-view match, singles match, no gimmicks, great opponent. Yeah, let's see what the level is, because you're in there with JD Hater. So let's see what that leads to. Brodido versus Okada and Takeshita for the tag team titles has the potential to be super, obviously.
Do we get the 2-man power trip? Okada and Takeshita with the four belts. Well, Okada will have 3 of them. Or 4 of them. 4, 5, 6. I don't know why you do why do you do the qualifier if you?
Yeah, although I kind of I wish they would. I kind of like the idea of them doing more of those qualifiers where the team eventually loses, just to keep the intrigue there. I feel like
dissension in the ranks.
Surely they lose and blame each other is where we go on this one.
I assume that's what they're going to do on this week's Dynamite.
Yeah.
And have then a single like Brody versus Okada at the pay-per-view.
So maybe we're stretching that a little bit, filling a couple of extra weeks of TV by having them win the initial match and then lose. I mean, we've lamented the tag division here over the last year. Feels like it's finally getting back on track. Brodido, a team out of nowhere, got super over and is doing really well. To take it off them and put it on 2 singles guys who are obviously going to be feuding would be the wrong move, IMO.
Yeah, I mean, since we know they're going to be feuding, they're not going to be defending the tag belts, so I assume they're going to lose here. But maybe the bunkheads, Takeshita gets pinned, Okada goes, so don't worry, it gives him the hug, but it's with a Rainmaker. Something like that. So cool. And then Takeshi has a super hot baby face. Sign me up for that. I'll take all that you got. Can't wait.
The Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe V for the TNT title.
People's main event
should be fantastic. Two WOTYCs going at it. Really looking forward to that one. A lot of after kind of complaining on the last show. To be fair to AEW, a card full of straight matches and an I Quit at the top. So I think that's good. A lot of just fucking good wrestlers paired up having what could be some really fun matches. So maybe you get your MJF return here as well. Obviously. I don't know what he left for. His actual honeymoon, I believe, is what he left for.
He's making a movie.
So maybe not then. Maybe not. Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks, $500,000 cash prize. So that one
match should be great.
Match should be really good. It should be fair. Really interesting one: Statlander versus Tony Storm. Now, Tony Storm, as mentioned, doing a lot of jobberonis lately, so you might think maybe she gets her win back here. I think the more interesting and gutsy thing to do would be to have Stat win. I think you got to make a person here. You've had Tony on top for 2 years. That was the other thing about that video package. It's great. You're like, man, one of their big success stories of all people they've ever gotten from WWE, and so they've really made hay while the sun was shining, and they deserve credit for it. But I think strike while the iron's hot here. You've got something with Stat. Go with it. I think to go status quo back to Tony would be a big mistake. So should be a great match. Stat has typically delivered in the big ones on pay-per-view, as has Tony, obviously. So there you go.
I think Tony will win it back, but not yet.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's almost
Let her have a run. Let us set up a tag team with someone. Get a tag team run going.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That could actually, I mean, we keep thinking about like mid-carders they're not pushing at the moment as possible tag title winners. I could also see them to legitimize those titles, Tony and a friend winning them, to legitimize them. Should be great. Also the singles match, Hanger versus Joe.
I mean, it should be very good.
Be very good. Come on. You think about the one hurdle this one surely had. Will people buy Joe as a, will people buy the near falls when Joe's nearly winning? I think is your big obstacle.
I mean, I felt that way about Fletcher, and they had a banger. So.
Yeah, true. They got us into it.
I mean, two excellent wrestlers, so so they should have a good match nonetheless. And then the match with top billing here on Wikipedia, I don't think it'll go on last, but it's certainly going to be tough to follow. Darby and Mox in the I Quit match, as we just discussed. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's coming there?
Darby would, I mentioned, shoot Mox in the leg. I reckon Darby cut one of his fingers off for the art.
Cut his knob off.
I mean, these two guys.
Yeah.
How far will they go?
They should do an exploding no rope barbed wire match. Yeah. Finally do the return of that with
Moxie would just take a firework to the hole.
But proper explosions this time, Tony. Not that.
I remember that. Around. Yeah, I mean, I think enough time has passed that they could, while acknowledging the last one, saying, in so many words, say, look, we know that was shite. But this time we're doing a real one. The problem is that if it goes wrong a second time, you can never do it again. I think enough time's passed that they could do it.
And that's the show. That's next Saturday on Twitter and/or your pay-per-view provider of choice.
Oh hell yeah!
Alrighty, segueing over to the non-wrestling golf of the week. Who has seen a film this week? I'd love to talk about some movies.
I've seen a few. I've seen a new one as well. Well, it's been out a few weeks. I went to the cinema, and I bought my ticket, drove to the cinema, boogieing in. Oh, here we go. Going to see a movie. Oh, there's someone sitting next to me. That's fine. I don't mind. What's that in his hand? Covered in cheese. It's nacho cheese. And actually, he had it on the seat that I was about to sit in. He just had it sitting.
Lovely. Brilliant.
So I didn't make a big scene. I just went, oh, my favorite. Anyway, I went to see The Long Walk, which is the new Stephen King novel turned into a movie starring Cooper Hoffman, son of Philip Seymour from Licorice Pizza. He was in, right? Cooper Hoffman, I believe.
I never saw that.
Very good movie, and very good actor. So The Long Walk, very simple premise. It is a dystopian post-war fascist world, or fascist version of the United States at least. And to raise morale, they have 50 young representatives from each of the United States come together for this long walk. And essentially it is a contest, and whoever can walk the longest without dropping below a certain speed or dropping out of the walk altogether, the winner will get a unspecified but very large amount of money, and also a wish of their choice. And if you do fall below the speed or stop walking, you get 3 warnings, and then on the 3rd warning you get your ticket. Read into that what you will. So it has a very good cast. I will say Cooper Hoffman is who I went in to see, and he was not the best performance in the movie. There's a new name to add to your list of names to keep an eye out for, a young British actor called David Johnson, who you will have seen as the android in Alien Romulus. Unfortunately, he was the one who delivered the toe-curlingly bad "Get away from her, you bitch" line. But let me tell you here, I thought at times I was watching a young Morgan Freeman.
Wow.
This guy is top. This guy is one to watch for, same time when I first saw what's the actress's name from Priscilla and also Alien Romulus from Spenny.
Oh, Katie Spenny.
When I first saw Katie Spenny, I had the same feel. I said, this girl has a special something. I feel the same about David Johnson. I was like, I came here to see Cooper Hoffman. Cooper Hoffman's being acted off the screen here before my eyes by this David Johnson guy. I tell you, what a performance! My God, I mean, you talk about, maybe it's not the kind of film that's necessarily going to get Oscar buzz, but it's as good a performance as I've seen this year. Absolutely excellent.
Wow.
The film itself is really, really good. Really, really good. I was, for the first hour, thinking, is this the best film I've seen this year?
Wow.
I will say, it's not quite a 10 Cloverfield Lane or a Barbarian, or, it's not one of those movies where I thought, well, it was good, and then the ending... The ending is not the most satisfying. Okay. It's not an absolute killer of an ending. It's not an absolute shit show of an ending. But I did come out kind of questioning, why'd they do that? That's not the way I would have done it. And I believe they did change the ending from the book. And not to be one of those people. I don't care about a book. The film and the book are two different things in my mind. But reading about the book's ending, it does sound to me like a more satisfying ending than the film has. So the film, like 90%, 95% of it, fucking great. Last 5 minutes, not the best, but not an absolute film ruiner, but not the strongest. But very, very good. I would definitely give it a little Halloween recommendation. It's not quite a horror, but it's a thriller with some gruesome imagery in there, but some, exceptional performances. So I definitely give it a recommendation. Speaking of, I watched an Halloween oldie, a Hammer film, which I don't think I've seen any of the classic Hammer horrors, like the, Frankenstein, Dracula, all the movies that have either Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing in. But I checked out one, and it's maybe a lesser known one. It's called The Devil Rides Out. In America, it's called The Devil's Bride. Those star Christopher Lee in a rare protagonist role. And it's about three men who reunite. They've kind of three friends who live apart now, and they reunite every year. And they come together, and two of them are there, and one of them is missing. So they go to find where the other guy is. Yeah, and they find him at this address, and it seems like he's got caught up in some sort of society, some ambiguous society that may be involved in the occult. Great, and so he goes from there. Very, very good, very good. Christopher Lee gives a masterclass in giving a composed, dedicated performance, even though some of the dialogue he says is absolutely bonkers. You buy it because Christopher Lee is so into it. So it's such a strong performance. Some of the special effects, of course, this is a 1968 release, so really on the cusp of doing kind of some very advanced special effects that don't necessarily always look the best, given that it was 1968. Some rear projection stuff and the like. There's one spider that appears that in some shots is the size of Barry's dog, and in other shots it's the size of my head. But you can't say it's not, audacious and ambitious. Like I said, Christopher Lee gives a top performance. So if you're in the mood for a more out there, lesser seen horror movie, 1968, The Devil Rides Out. Very, 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 very. Yeah,
that sounds fun.
Yes, it's a fun one. And then finally, I watched the horror of aging. It's Spinal Tap 2. Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. Which I had seen getting decent enough
reviews, yeah.
Decent enough reviews. And I very much like the first one. I'm a big Spinal Tap fan. I regret to inform that I wasn't such a fan of this one. It's very strangely structured because Christopher Guest has made a number of these improv comedies. That's kind of his shtick, right?
Right.
And so Spinal Tap was very much that, with the added element of being kind of a mockumentary. And so here they do a mockumentary about, Spinal Tap are coming together for this one big show. And so a lot of the movie is around them rehearsing and getting ready for the show. Almost feels like the Beatles documentary that came out on Disney Plus a few years ago, the Let It Be sessions, right? So it's them in a room rehearsing the songs and talking about the songs and doing comedy here and there. The problem is the film is only, I'm not sure the exact word, an hour and a half, maybe 85. Like it's right. really short. Half of the movie is just them matter-of-factly playing the songs. I was expecting an hour and a half of new improv, new bits, and there's mentions of funny bits that they don't then do. So they bring in a manager, and the manager is like, I'm not really involved in rock music. I have like a K-pop band that I kind of manage. Right. And so I'm thinking, okay, it has to be a funny hijink where they're trying to get Spinal Tap to fit into the modern world genres that they don't know. Don't do any of that. Do you like the song Listen to the Flower People? Because they play that twice in the film for some reason. They play it early, and then in the second half, Elton John comes in, and Elton John goes, "Can we play that song?" And then they just play it again. the weird thing is then the end credits are like, it's credits over footage, and the footage is exclusively funny improv. Like some of the funniest bits of the movie are in the end credits.
Okay.
And like, you've done it backwards. Do that during the movie, and then in the end credits, you can do a montage of the songs, right? Also, the climax of the movie is the concert where they do a 4-song montage culminating in Stonehenge. And that loses its impact because you've done half an hour of them playing songs in the build-up as well. So when it's an improv comedy, these are funny guys, and it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's like, makes up like half an hour of the movie. Like, there was a really, really good 45-minute TV special in here that they have stretched to feature length by you 3 guys sit in chairs with acoustic guitars and you play Big Bottom or whatever, you know? And it's like, if I wanted to hear the songs, I can pull up Spotify, I can watch YouTube. I didn't get as much of a thrill of just hearing the old songs again.
Yeah.
And I was hoping for some
movie,
more.
yeah.
I was hoping for like a fully new soundtrack.
Yeah.
There was one new song in the entire movie. So it's a weird one. It's kind of, was hard to score. Like, I gave it a 2-star just based purely on like that. I felt like it was a bit of a missed opportunity. But like I say, when it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah.
There just isn't enough of it, and too much time spent on literally reliving the old classics, you know? So I wasn't super into it. It was mostly a bit boring, but there's some really funny stuff in there. Like I say, if someone could do a fan edit where they cut out the scenes where they just play the songs, you would have a really solid 45-minute bit.
Listen, the big studios have decided we need to make as much money out of Harry Shearer as we can. He's 81, so we got to do Simpsons 2, and we got to do Spinal Tap 2, and don't let this man rest.
I mean, cynically, I would wonder if the reason they spend so much of the movie sitting in chairs is because Harry Shearer is 81, which is a very valid reason.
I mean, they're all fucking pushing on.
Don't necessarily make for the most compelling. Like, I would have loved to see, like you say, okay, we've got this songwriter in for you, and he did Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
Okay, that might have been a bit of a dated reference by now, but you know, that kind of stuff where they're kind of interacting with unusual scenarios.
I mean, so much has happened since that last movie. You could bounce off them, you know.
The old manager from the first movie, the blonde fellow with the sunglasses. They say he's died. He's dead. So here's his daughter, Kerry Godliman, who to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of her.
I don't think I'm not sure if I've seen it. Then
she's in Derek in Afterlife.
In Afterlife, yeah.
Wait, who? No, I think what's her name?
Kerry Godliman.
She's good on Taskmaster. Bush Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is that because she's in it, it has a bit of a feeling of a Life's on the Road or whatever the fucking Rent movie was called.
Yeah.
That's a personal thing. That's nothing to say she's not good. She's perfectly fine in it. But when she came up, I was like, who are we going to see next? Fucking David Earl or Joe Wilkinson or something. Anyway, Spinal Tap 2 out of 5.
Hey, got their fucking asses. Joe, what have you seen this week?
Just the one film. Went to the cinema today to see Urchin, which is the directorial debut of Mr. Harris Dickinson, the next
Iron Claw,
John Lennon. So this was about a kind of young homeless man in London who's struggling with addiction and trying to just sort of get day to day. So it's very kind of naturalistic. It feels very realistic at the start as well, kind of showing him in this community of homeless people and their sort of community and way of life. He then, as an incident that kind of changes his circumstances. And from there, it kind of follows him trying to like escape this life of sleeping rough. As I say, very naturalistic, but there are some more kind of fantastical moments to it. I really like the performances. I thought not just the main actor, who's Frank Dillon, I think it is, who's the son of Stephen Dillon, who is in Game of Thrones, played Stannis. He's really, really good as the main character. He's a little bit like, looks too kind of actory to be, it looks like he doesn't look like he's been sleeping on the streets for 5 years. Let's put it that way. He's very like tall and good looking and kind of in, when he takes his shirt off at one point, like he's very thin, as you'd expect someone who's on the street and isn't, maybe eating regularly, but he's kind of like actor thin, like very like defined and kind of sexy thin, not emaciated from, sleeping on the street and drinking bottles of cider. He does a very good job, but you really kind of empathize with the character. He's very charismatic. You don't feel like he's cosplaying as an unhoused person, which is the kind of risk with this sort of thing. Can feel exploitative, I think. But I think it worked really well. Some of the direction felt a little bit insistent on itself, a little bit kind of, I don't even want to say like student filmy, but there were a couple of moments where I was like, university, first film to make at university sort of thing. But on the whole, it was just shot very nicely. It wasn't too sort of gimmicky. Just a few moments like that. It was good. Performances are good. And I think, really strong performances all from the supporting characters, even very small roles. I think it was very well cast. Dickinson pops up briefly in a small role. He's very good. So I did enjoy it. I did think it was a little bit predictable. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be the point that, once you get into that cycle of kind of being on the street, it's so hard to pull yourself out that it's almost kind of inevitable what's going to happen in the film. But then that also just makes the actual events of the film fairly inevitable. So I'm kind of like, well, yeah. You're not really taking me in an unexpected direction, but it is a very, interesting kind of portrayal. So yeah, it was good. I'd maybe check it out on streaming if it eventually makes there. But yeah, not a bad little effort from old Harris Dickinson.
Harris, potential James Bond. We'll see.
It could be.
His name's in the hat. I know that one.
Get him in the hat.
It's not going to be Bezos's nephew or something instead.
No. Bezos himself.
Oh, there you go. First ever bald James Bond. There you go.
No, Sean Connery wore a wig during his
Bond
appearances.
Well, that does it. Well, Bezos could get with.
Come on, please. A Kurt Angle 2002 one.
Get one of Mercedes colored ones with
like multicolored, like all the way down his back. You can do it, Jeff. Oh, anyway,
he could be another Bond who gets killed as well. I wouldn't mind that. One Bezos.
I watched some scary movies this. I'll start with the shittest one that I don't necessarily agree with its occasional categorization as a horror. Other than I had a bloody horrific time watching it, folks. I watched the most recent Crow film from last year. I mean, it was rubbish. It was rubbish. I don't want to belabor it. I think the key thing they tried to do different from the original, from anyone who hasn't seen the original basically kicks off with like the Brandon Lee character and his love interest killed in like this random act of violence, and then you get your incredibly cool comic booky noir revenge story from there. This one has what's probably like 20 minutes, but it feels like a fucking hour of Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs meeting each other in rehab and falling in love and finishing each other's sentences before she dies. Spoilers, and the revenge story gets going. That was, I think, their big thing they tried to do to differentiate themselves from the original, and it is easily the biggest failing of the movie by far. I will say that eventually when they get to the fireworks factory and they've got some action sequences where the Crow is killing baddies, got some inventive stuff in there. It's really bloody. It's quite over the top. Not enough to save it, though. A terrible film. I've enjoyed some FKA Twigs' songs. I would advise she stick to that line of work. She is terrible in this film. But also, Skarsgård is on a yellow card for me. I need this man to be in something decent where he gives a good performance. I mean, John Wick 4, he was good, but you know, I think I have not enjoyed most of the things I've seen him in. You know, like he was in that Boy Kill World, which is also rubbish, and he was really annoying in it. Don't really count it. It's like a complete like transformation with prosthetics and a lot of CGI. You can't even really tell it's him, you know. Not digging him, and I feel like his fortunes are very much on the way down, especially after this. Other than that, I watched Blink Twice from last year, which was the Zoe Kravitz directorial debut. I think she also had a writing credit on it as well. Very good, very a very good movie, not necessarily a great movie, but for a debut, I thought a really good, her next couple of things are going to be really interesting to see how they come along. It is a Jeffrey Epstein thriller is basically what the movie is. It's two average kind of 9-to-5 worker ladies become ensnared in they become infatuated with the Channing Tatum character, who is a generic Bezosian CEO, tech billionaire. They don't specify what, but at the beginning of the film, he's on his way back to the top post cancellation. They don't specify what happened, but like he's been a bold boy for some non-specific reasons in the past, and is working his way back in the good graces. And I mean, to follow up on they literally go to his private island with a bunch of other rich guys and a bunch of other women they don't know. That is how on the nose the premise of the film is. Naturally, it is a horror. It's somewhat predictable, but the nature of what the second half of the film is, I think, is actually kind of interesting and not entirely predictable. It's a bit of a mystery. There's almost certain elements of like Get Out to it to a certain degree as well. So I don't want to reveal too much about it, even though you'll half an hour into this film you're like, okay, I know where this is going. How do we get there? Is what you're waiting for. But very enjoyable, really good. I will say it kind of to what Paul was saying about the long walk. The ending. I had a couple of mutuals on Letterboxd who hated the ending. I didn't quite hate the ending. It was a little promising young woman, is the comparison I will make, which is they make this very interesting, powerful, biting, satirical film. It's ending a bit too cutesy to the point of it almost undermining what the actual film is doing. I see what it's saying, but I didn't hate it. I could see people hating it though, and a lot of people did hate it. I would not elaborate on it because I think overall the movie is really good and worth seeing. But yeah, that is Blink Twice. I think that's an Amazon movie. Elsewhere, I watched When Evil Lurks, an Argentinian horror movie from a couple of years ago. Was getting a lot of buzz. This is about two brothers who live on some very remote farmland, and they discover that the family member of a farmer a couple of fields over has become infected or possessed. This movie has a very weird, interesting, unique folklore it has created that thankfully it does not waste a lot of time elaborating on or establishing what the parameters of this world are. They kind of just go, and you kind of just pick up what this is as you go along. It's kind of like, so this nearby family's son is like turning into sort of halfway between an exorcist possessed thing and like a giant zombie monster with pus coming out of it. And they're like, everyone's freaking out. They're like, oh my God, they've got a rotten in their farm. And like other people understand what this is. So in this universe, this is like a known thing. It's interesting. And the means at which this person has to be dealt with are very specific, so they can't just go in and shotgun it in the head, because that will lead to bad things happening. And similar to Blink Twice, that's kind of where I would leave it. I wouldn't elaborate too much on it beyond that because the way the story unfolds is quite interesting. This is definitely a feel-bad movie. I would say that this is not.
Okay.
This is not one of those horror movies where they catch the killer or they exorcise the demon. Really good. Quite brutal. Quite dour. Quite upsetting. I will say that the first half of it is very minimalist. There's like 4 characters, and it's a lot of these 4 characters that are all like small-time farmers who live a couple of acres apart but know each other, bickering on how you resolve this issue, and that's really interesting. And then as the movie goes on, it becomes a little bit more conventional. The horror trappings, they go to an expert who knows how to handle these things, who has a book, and they
Expert joke.
Yeah, they call up who's the guy from Sinister that Red Letter Media always reference? Kingpin, the Marvel shows.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
They call him Vincent D'Onofrio, and they're like, it gets into a little bit of that. I thought the second half of it really didn't have a bad ending per se. It just becomes like the first half that's very interesting. A couple of like surly, beardy, hairy, lazy farmers is like, this fucking situation. What are we gonna do? And then it just becomes a little bit trite in the second half. So, but good, worth the watch if you're looking for a real downer and also a very gross movie. Watch the Omen, the original Omen, back in the day. That is a really fun watch. It's very iconic. Obviously, you'll know most of the bits. You'll know the score already in your head.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun, I will say. It's by my standards, it's certainly not over the top in its gore or its scares. And there's a very unintentional cheese factor to it. I think watching it in modern times because for anyone who hasn't seen it, like Damien is looked after by a nanny who's basically a servant of Satan who's there to protect him. And it's very fun because you're watching the movie and I'm like, all right, I will know that this nanny is evil instantly. Okay, I'm sorry, this is the most obviously evil nanny I've ever seen in my life. There's also some kind of the way Damien offs people is very what we would now call like Final Destination in a silly way.
Yes.
The Omen is good fun. It's not amazing, but it is good fun, and it's very deserving of its iconic status, I would say. So that is definitely one to check out.
Now you know what the ending of the first Omen was.
Now it all ties together. I'm going to go back and rewatch that, actually, see how they all piece together.
Damien.
Damien, of course. Yeah, he comes out of the portal and with Doctor Strange portal at the end. Speaking of the classics, I rewatched A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, the OG. That is still a great movie. I think it's still like as iconic, and everyone knows what it is. It still feels like fresh. It's still like such a cool idea, and the execution of it is brilliant. It's so well done. The kills and the special effects and the dream logic, brilliant, really fantastic. I mean, Wes Craven had a lot of bangers, a lot of great ideas. I'm going to try and watch some of the rest of those. Obviously, the sequel's not as well regarded, but some of the later ones actually do have their defenders. I want to watch some more of those. Second one, obviously, different director and stuff like that, so you got some clunkers in there. But really good stuff. And then I, for some reason, watched this year's I Know What You Did Last Summer movie, which is, it is legacy sequel, the movie. That is what this is. A bunch of kids find themselves in a hilariously on-the-nose recreation of the original film's events. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Second act trundles along. Oh, is that you, character from the original film? Yeah, it is. I don't want to talk about the events of the original film. But we need you to talk about the events of the original film, Jennifer Love Hewitt. No, I can't. It's that. The funny thing about it is I thought this movie was going to be really clever because our new young characters are boozing on 4th of July weekend, and they're on the side of a road that is, I think it is, so it's set in the same town as the original film, and they are on the side of the road. And for those of you who haven't seen the original film, these pals are getting drunk, hanging out, they're cruising down the street, and they accidentally run over a guy, and they sort of reluctantly all enter into a vow to not tell anyone what they did that night. but somebody knows, and they're tracked down by a serial killer. They're on that exact same road in this new film, and they do a couple of fake outs. They do, I think, 2 red herring, almost car crashes. I was like, oh, they're like, oh, you think we're going to do that, but we're actually not. It's like, okay, so I wonder how they're going to get into an I know what you did last summer type situation. After the 2 fake outs, they just do the actual thing on that same exact road where a guy dies on that exact same road. I was like, oh, I thought you were going to do something interesting, but you tricked me into thinking you were. And that's kind of this movie in a nutshell. There's a couple of half decent ideas on here. They toy very briefly with the legacy sequel tropes in a quasi interesting way. Conclusion of the film doesn't do anything with that. It's not very good at all. So yeah, you can give that one a miss unless you are an absolute 90s diehard who wants to see Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze again.
I am a bit. I grew up on that era of like post-Scream kind of horrors, but even then, even back in the day, those movies were shit. Yeah, Summer was like a bad rip-off of Scream.
It was sub-Scream, yeah. And that's kind of the funny. This one as well, it's a lot of half measures. Like I say, it kind of has some legacy sequel bits in it, but not really. It kind of does the 90s Scream thing of being like a black comedy in certain ways, but not really. It doesn't lead enough into that stuff. It's very half-baked. This was quite rubbish.
Jack Black show up doing a Jamaican accent?
No, unfortunately, why it's bad.
It's rubbish.
And yeah, I think yes, that was all I saw this week. So logged some hours on the spooky movies this week to try and catch up. On the telly side of things, I've got quite a bit of telly, so I'll run through it here fairly quick. I finished Peacemaker season 2, which I think I watched the entirety of in a week because I was actually. Compared to how I was on season 1, which I talked about, I think, last week, season 2 was a huge improvement over season 1. I greatly enjoyed it. So much so that I even thought, so the phrase everyone hates to hear, this season they had some multiverse stuff in it because everything does. If it's based on a comic book, it has to have that. So this is post-Superman and it's canon to Superman. So you know the little dimensions Lex Luthor had where he went in and he had his prisoners and stuff?
Yeah.
Peacemaker show... Even the first season has that stuff as well. The little kind of they have access to that kind of world, unaware that it's also a thing Lex Luthor is doing. And in season 2, they introduced this idea that you can go in there and you can open a door to a parallel universe. And while I was like, oh, God, do I want to watch a show do this? I actually thought they do some genuinely really interesting stuff with it in this season of TV. I think this season of TV tones down the humor a lot. It's still a comedy, but one of my big issues last time was Gunn hitting the humor a little too hard and not landing. Pair that back in. Still some jokes. They hit a bit harder. Character stuff is way more important. And you've got some genuinely really interesting stuff where characters are like, is this other version of the world I'm looking at? Is this like, will this actually be better for me? You know, some of that going on. Really, really enjoyed it. The ending seems to have rubbed people the wrong way a little bit. Without spoiling things, they've said they're not doing a 3rd season of this show, and so the ending of it is somewhat cliffhangery, and it's pretty much just keep an eye out for the next couple of movies, I guess, if you want to see where the universe goes. I don't know how I feel about that. Like a good compliment I'd pay this show is that I kind of forgot I was watching a tie-in, canon in-universe show because it doesn't really matter. There's some cameos in this that are good. The ending is very much a stay tuned, watch Superman 2 kind of ending. So that might rub people the wrong way, but I do genuinely think it was a really good season, well worth watching. And funnily enough as well, like I think it's worth watching in its own right, but the stuff it sets up for the future James Gunn verse can all be explained with like 2 lines of dialogue. It's that you don't like, because they have to be, because obviously like Superman 2 is going to be a big mainstream success thing. No, like the percentage of people who watch this versus see that is going to be minuscule. So they have to keep it broad strokes, easy to understand, which is funny enough. This also has, I will say, this had the funniest retconning I've seen in a television show in the last, I don't know how long. So a mild spoiler here. At the end of season 1, which was released about 3-ish years ago, the Justice League have a cameo, right? So they don't actually do anything important. They basically just show up at the end of the season, and John Cena's character's like, oh, I could have used you earlier. And you see the silhouette of them all, and I think the only people who were actually there to actually record things were Momoa and Miller. and they have a little jokey exchange where he says Aquaman, oh, tells him to fuck off or whatever, right? Obviously, a lot happened in those 3 years. So in episode 1 of season 2 of Peacemaker, they do a previously on Peacemaker thing, and they have that exact same scene, but they've edited it to be fucking Isabella Merced and Nathan Fillion and the characters from Superman instead of the Justice League.
Okay.
So they've completely removed the Snyder characters and subbed in the new and the scene looks the exact same. It's very, very cheeky, very cheeky. But yeah, it's good fun. It was only about 8 episodes, and a lot of them were only half an hour as well, so you could get through this. Similarly, How Are You? It's Alan Partridge, the new Partridge 6-part mockumentary.
The best of the Beatles.
It is really fantastic. I absolutely binged through it. I mean, it was so funny. Coogan on top form. I mean, it's the enduring ability of this character has been really spectacular. I thought this was great fun. So if you're into your Partridge, but you don't maybe check out every single project they do, I think this one is well worth seeking out on the iPlayer. Finished Kin season 1, which is the Irish crime drama. Really enjoyed it. Again, moved at a decent clip. Good intrigue, good performances. I really enjoyed that. And I just snuck in 1 episode of Tales from the Crypt, the horror anthology thing from the 90s. Really fun Christmas episode where a very sure of herself wife offs her husband on Christmas Eve. She's going to abscond with boyfriend with the money and all this other stuff, the life insurance policy. But a madman dressed as Santa Claus has escaped from the mental facility on the same night. And folks, I don't want to spoil things for you, but I fear this Tales from the Crypt character might be hoisted by their own petard. And they may in fact have to reap what they sow by the end of that episode, but I won't spoil it. I won't spoil this show from 1990 for you.
What every episode of that show.
What every episode of that show ends up being. That show is very fun, very camp, very silly, very over the top. I greatly enjoy that. Yeah, that's been my TV for the week.
Well, I will introduce a horror-y TV show.
Excellent.
Since it's the season, I started watching Alien Earth.
How is that? I'm very curious.
I've watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
They're both an hour long, so I watched the feature length.
Okay.
Movie worth of it. I think it's a bit crap.
Really?
Yeah. Watching the first episode, I had this epiphany that this might be the first series of this kind, certainly a movie spin-off, that didn't really feel like I was watching a prestige TV show. It felt a little cheap in the performances and the way it was shot and the way it was the effects. It kind of felt more like, God, it feels like I've traveled back to the 90s, and it feels like the kind of TV show that might have been made then, albeit with updated effects and so on and so forth. Second episode maybe slightly better. There was some more of the classic Alien action or whatever, horror, whatever you want to call it. And the issue with Alien Earth is that Alien as a property is very difficult to spin off into a TV series from the point of view of it being Alien is such a simple idea.
Yes.
That they've redone exactly the same way like 4 times.
Yes.
Okay, Aliens, you could argue, is slightly different. Alien 3 and Resurrection, you could argue again with differing results.
Yes.
In terms of good or bad, but again, different. But since then, Alien has done the same thing over, especially Robin, as we talked about, and Covenant, just being like, again, legacy sequel, soft reboot, where they literally do this, even the same like ways of defeating the alien.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot see another Alien movie where they shoot it out the old exhaust hatch.
Yeah.
Same every time. So what do you do with a TV series? Can you just do a bunch of people in a spaceship, an alien gets on it, do that for 8 episodes? Because it isn't that, thankfully.
They're trying to do Die Hard, the TV series.
Kind of,
like,
right?
Yeah, it's a man trapped in a building. What we showed stuff going on outside the building. What you mean, like just a normal cop show? Yeah.
The problem is
I did watch the first 10 minutes of the first episode of Alien Earth, and it was it was all this stuff about I'm a replicant or whatever, and what does it mean to feel? Fuck, just this
is what I'm getting to is either you do that and you just do a 8-episode stretched out version of Alien, which Alien's been done, so why even do that? Or you do something totally different. But then why even make it an Alien? Yeah. So essentially what this is doing is that they have androids and they have synthetics, and now they have a third version, which is a hybrid, right? Which is where they take some children who have terminal illnesses and transfer their minds into an android body. And so you have these group of children who have their minds transferred, and unfortunately, they are now your core crew for the series, is children in adults' bodies. So you're constantly thinking, oh, these people are acting weird and stupid. Oh, they're children. Yeah. Which doesn't make for a super compelling group to kind of tag along with. And so you have this main plot about this new technology, and then you have to shoehorn an Alien movie into it, which I don't know that necessarily it kind of goes hand in hand, because you have this thing with these hybrids that doesn't feel related to Alien at all. So you're kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place in terms of, do we just do Alien again, or do we do something different, but then it doesn't feel like Alien?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a right answer to that, unfortunately. I mean, the right answer to me is you don't make an Alien TV series.
Yeah, I think the solution to all this stuff is don't live in this era we live in where everything just has to be connected to something that came before. Remember, mind that IP. Do you know what I mean? This time and effort and money and budget on a sci-fi project like this that didn't have the shackles on it of having to connect to a fucking xenomorph at some point, would be...
It also has... And it's not overblown with this or overstated with this, but it does have like MCU comedy in it, which is very often. So there was I forget what the line was, but there you have like 6 characters walking through a corridor, and one of the girls says something like, "I miss baths. I used to like having baths. Can't have baths anymore." And then they just continue, it cuts to them continue walking through the corridor. I was like, you could have put that out so easily. What was the purpose of them saying that? Just to say things, just that, that's funny. Okay, I don't need that in Alien. It's Alien. I don't need, what was the Godzilla one that I hated a few years ago? It says doors. Doors hate me. I don't need that in Alien.
Yeah.
Alien. Okay. So I'm 2 episodes in. There's only 8 episodes, so I'll watch it all. But it's not what I was hoping it was going to be.
No, people seem very positive on it. Certainly, once it gets going. So
maybe it will.
You could be the canary in the coal mine. I kind of wanted to start watching it this month. The season that it is. But yeah, I don't know. I'll let you be the judge.
I just don't find the core plot that compelling. I think the characters are a bit annoying. I think it's a bit stupid. I mean, that's it. I think the show is stupid and annoying.
It's not a great endorsement. I'll be honest. It's not a great endorsement.
But I'm open to the possibility that it's one of those where it's like, you got to get through the first 3 episodes, and then it gets really good.
Yeah.
I'll give it the old college try, but the first 2 episodes were not very inspiring.
Yeah, Alien might be one of the hardest one of these, where it's just such a specific thing to constantly be going back to. Do you know what I mean? So much so that it can't even keep its various, timelines straight, I don't think.
And I don't particularly care about how it fits into the overall mythos. Yeah. That, whatever. But it's just, again, Alien is fucking a haunted house movie, is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to an extent, there might be a bit of the Raid 2 to this. And I don't want to bring up that old debate, but my problems with the Raid 2, I think, are kind of reflected in the show, where I don't really care about the Wayland Yutani Corporation and the bigger lore to all of that. I just like my nice simple movie about a fucking alien in a ship. Similar to the Raid. So maybe there's a bit of that play as well. So actually, Barry, maybe Alien Earth is class.
Maybe.
It's possible.
But I'm going to wait until you get a bit deeper into it before I decide to take a punt. Yes. I'll see what you say.
Yeah.
That's the telly for the week. On the game front, I will say I'm about 2 hours into Silent Hill F. Kind of put Hades to the side, just like the movies and the TV. I want to play some scary games. Silent Hill F seems cool. It seems like a very Silent Hill-y experience. They've kind of freshened it up by taking it out of a American fake Twin Peaks town and putting it in 1960 kind of rural Japan. You are a scared schoolgirl, but other than that, the broad strokes are very similar. You have a bunch of interpersonal problems with your family and friends, and then suddenly the town you're in becomes a fog-covered nightmare with monsters running around. And with the best versions of games from this franchise, I'm like, there's little bits of dialogue going where I'm like, okay, one of these characters I'm talking to is like already dead or something, or I'm imagining them, or they're in my subconscious. I'm like, it's really enjoyable so far, but I'm waiting for the penny to drop on what the thing is in this game. But it's cool. It's very atmospheric. It's scary. It's very scary. I think they've done a good job of these games always have that trouble where it's kind of like the combat is like shit, but it's like that on purpose because you're not supposed to be playing it like a fighting game because you're supposed to be an underpowered normal person. And it's what they've done is I think they've actually made it feel better to actually play, but the way they balance that is all your weapons like break. They have a very, very low durability meter, so it's like, okay, you must fight. It feels better than it used to, but you still don't want to do that because you're a little weakling, and if you get caught without a weapon, you're done. So I think they've done that quite well.
It's like the first 2 hours of Breath of the Wild.
Kind of, yeah. It's like pick your battles.
I've got a shtick.
Like it's not a full blown stealth experience, but they do teach you early on about like breaking line of sight with enemies, for example. They're like, so they're really hammering home early, like don't constantly engage. It's not going to work for you. But very cool, very atmospheric. I'm still early, but it's a good one. It's a good one so far.
Nice.
That's the only game for me this week. Do you have anything else before we wrap up?
Tuesday we went out and about, went to the London Palladium to see the Horne Section, which is the band of Mr. Alex Horne, creator of Taskmaster. So Michelle booked these back in January when we were first in our original kind of Taskmaster marathon and very, very into it. So she just saw it, thought, let's do that. So if you don't know the Horne Section, basically it's like a musical comedy group that Alex Horne fronts. I think they do a show on Channel 4.
They have their own sitcom thing.
So essentially they do like comedy songs. No, I've never, for whatever reason, I've never really been a fan of musical comedy. Like not particular people.
Weird Al,
musical comedy. Weird Al, Flight the Cog, anything like that. I've never enjoyed it. I don't know what it is. I just do not find musical comedy funny. And this confirmed that I was right all along because it's not very good.
Oh no,
it was not good at all. And I think it was also slightly awkward because I do think it's a big venue. It's like 2,000 people at the Palladium. I think probably 90% of them were just Taskmaster fans who were like, oh, let's go and see Alex Horne. They didn't really know what to expect. So they did this kind of first song. It was like a couple of minutes long, and then it ended silence. I know. There's about 10 seconds of silence because we hadn't realized the song had finished.
Oh, dear.
And everyone started clapping.
Scattered applause.
And he kind of acknowledged this, was like, we got to get that applause coming quick. Come on. Can't have a gap between the song and the applause. So it did feel a bit like it wasn't like people were turning on the show or anything or really negative. It was all a bit like awkward of like, we don't really know what this is. So in the end, it was reasonably funny. The funniest part was when he did a task. So there was a kind of brief interlude of like doing a Taskmaster task with two members of the audience, both of whom were absolutely fucking rat ass. Like they're both just staggering around the stage, barely.
Yeah.
But that was really funny. So that was good. It was okay overall, but yeah, it was sort of 2 hours of like musical comedy, and it was not the best. But yeah, that was not a highest recommendation to see the Horne Section. But yeah, there you go.
It's like when you go to see a solo artist from a well-known band, and he plays we're playing the stuff off the new album that 2 of you have heard. Go on, we'll play fucking the hit. Go on.
Yeah,
a bit of that too.
And he did kind of acknowledge that this was his sort of side passion. He couldn't afford to do this if it wasn't for Taskmaster. So yeah,
well, of course.
I'm so good at the artwork. Dear me.
The wait.
Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Dearie me. Alrighty.
Very good.
That is going to do it for the ChairShot Podcast this week, pals. ChairShotPodcast.com is where you can go to email us. Check out the Fantasy League in real time as well. Also, we'll be back next week with a Wrestledream review. More Halloween hijinks. I would imagine TV, games, movies, all the other fun and games, and of course, any of the wrestling news that happens on the way. So, with all that said, it's going to be goodbye from me, Barry. Goodbye from Joe.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Paul.
Goodbye.